How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a new episode on V-Test Drive. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually doing a 6-month ownership of my 2019 Audi A4 Quattro. So I decided to do a little bit of a different style of video. I'm definitely going to do a driven review throughout the whole video, talking in depth about what it's like to drive my 2019 Audi A4 Quattro. But I want to give you guys a little bit of an outside view of what the car is. As you guys might have noticed, it is a gorgeous fall day right here in Quebec. Now I want to direct your attention a little bit to my 2019 Audi A4. As you noticed it is the comfort model, which is the baseline. I equipped it with a convenience package. That is the only package that is available into the comfort lineup. Beautiful white color. I love my Audis when they are white. I think it contrasts really well. Everything else is as you would expect. Brand new. I have about 8,000 kilometers on it. Haven't had a single issue. I love the way they redesigned it in 2019 with the beautiful S package grille. It's actually the same grille on the S4. 2017, 2018 S4 has the same grille. So as you guys notice, the headlight housing is a little bit different from the Progressive and the Technique. It really would be the 4 LED dots that you see here. Normally all the other Audi models have a full LED strip integrated along with the flashers as well. So this is really the most distinctive way to analyze between a comfort and the other models. I'll be honest, I actually kind of like that look more. The new 2020 Audi has a little similar feature as that. They kind of dropped the full LED and they gave it dots as well. Much more advanced, much more progressive, and much more different, but I do like this look. I especially love this grille, the new revised grille. It is so much more premium than the previous plasticky models. Still plasticky, but looks much more premium and everything. It's much nicer added on value. 2019, you get these 18-inch rims as standard. I think they look great. A little bit of a interesting design here. I do love the 19-inch rotors, but these pretty much complement the car very well. Everything else is as you would expect. Nothing much has changed. The door mirrors that are attached on the door, it helps with aerodynamics and also improves sound quality on the inside of the car. Door handles, as you would notice, go upwards. Everything, you have a nice little LED touch under here. Everything else is quite normal, quite as you would expect. Added a window tint from the factory, slightly darker than it should be, but has great contrast as well. I say, let's go for a little spin, and I'm gonna talk more in depth about what my experience has been for the last 6 months with this vehicle. Let's go. Alright, so we are off. Now let me recap a little bit my experience of when I got this car in May of 2019. So in 2015, I went to my Audi dealership right here in Brossard, Quebec, Park Avenue Audi. It's a great dealership. I've had a fantastic experience. I got the 2015 Audi A4 Comfort. I always got the Comfort lines. They were the cheapest of the bunch. To put you a little bit in perspective, in Canada, Audi has 3 different trims. We have the Comfort, the Progressive, and the Technique. And in 2015, me being relatively young, working a 40-hour-a-week job in the aeronautics industry, I decided to splurge and I got a 2015 Audi A4. It was with an S-Line, but S-Line did come standardly equipped in 2015, but I did add the extra sport package, which gave me a flat bottom steering wheel and a little bit of extra accents. I'm not entirely sure what they were in 2015, but it made the car really nice looking, very similar to an S4. I took it in 6-speed manual, which I do not regret for 1 second. I had a blast driving that car with a 6-speed manual. And then 3 years into my lease, I decided to lease bust, and I went ahead and did the biggest mistake anyone can do. I bought a used 2011 BMW 335 Coupe E92 model. That was the biggest money pit I have ever had. It cost me a fortune to maintain, constant stupid problems. The car had 70,000 kilometers and I had to constantly fix oil leaks, redo the control arms. I had engine issues, brake issues. This car was a mess. But when it did work, it was pretty badass. And in the month of May of this year, I just got so fed up of repairs. I just went to my Audi dealership once again in Brossard, Park Avenue, went to see one of my good friends, Marc-André. I gave him my BMW, literally told him, how much you're giving me for it? I cannot take this anymore. Take it off my hands. They did, gave me a very modest price. I lost a fortune on that car. Don't buy a used BMW unless you have a warranty on it. And then I went ahead and I just went back to the world of Audi. I've always loved Audis. My family has always owned Audis. And I just went ahead and got a brand new 2019 A4 again. So I went ahead and leased this vehicle. This car was not purchased. I leased it for 4 years. And the price was quite interesting. I actually hit a very, very good promotion when I got it. This car is initially listed at $45,600 if I'm not mistaken, Canadian prices. So I leased this car for 4 years, 80,000 kilometers total for the lease at 0.9% interest rate. That is insanely good for Audi specifically. Right now, the interest rates are a little bit higher. In Canada, they're in the 1.9s, maybe even 2.9s, but I got a preferred interest rate of 0.9, and that brought my price down to $554, tax in a month. And again, to put it into perspective, I had went to Acura to look at a brand new TLX, base TLX. It was more expensive than this. So this is a bargain if you think about it. Now in 2019, they did do a moderate facelift to the vehicle. They added in the front the Audi S4 bumper. So the S4 bumper that came in 2017-18 comes standard now in the 2019 light up in the front. Really cool, gives it a nice little aggressive look. You get the trapezoid exhaust systems in the back. That is a nice touch for 2019. It makes the car feel so premium. Actually, it looks like a baby A8. I really love that they did that. It looks so good. Dynamic turn signals come standard as well. The list goes on with how many standard features you get for a base price of $45,600. Now let me talk about the engine in this car as well. It is a 2-liter TFSI turbo developing 247 horsepower and 285, I'm not entirely sure of the figures, pound-feet of torque, which is quite an improvement over the previous generation, the B8s. They were 220 horsepower and about 256-7 pound-feet of torque. So you're getting about 30 horsepower increase, 30 to 40 torque increase. It really makes a huge difference. This car does seem slightly bigger than the previous model as well, but not that much heavier because of the materials that are used. So it is a fantastic engine, very peppy. You don't really need quite more than that for everyday use and drivability, and it is surprisingly fuel efficient. I do a good mix of highway and city driving, not one much more than the other, so I'm really like 50-50 when it comes to that. And according to my onboard computer, I average 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is fantastic figures for a big 4-door luxury sedan. So I've mentioned that this is not an S-Line model, so the suspension tuning is a little bit different. It is much more oriented towards comfort, so it's not as stiff as you'd like it to be. When you go in a curve, you do get a fair amount of body roll, but not enough to impede on the handling of the vehicle. It's still very good handling. It's not phenomenal. Again, this is not a sports car. This is a very road comfort tuned suspension, and it does a fantastic job at it. So this is essentially what this car is, a very competent 4-door, 4-wheel drive luxury sedan. It does it super well at a super affordable price. So we talk loads and loads about how comfortable this car is. What I want to do now is I'm going to go a little bit on back roads, and I want to give it a bit of a push to show you guys that this could also be a very competent sports car. Again, this was never aimed to be a sports car. The S4 or even the S-Line models are more oriented towards that, but this still does a very good and very close job at achieving that as well. So for this, let's go ahead and put it in dynamic. and right away you feel the transmission downshift in keeping the revs much higher. You could also switch the gear shift on the right, which puts you in a manual mode, shift with the paddle shifters. One little complaint I have is that the paddle shifters are plasticky. They feel very flimsy, which really is interesting because the S5 and S4 have the same paddle shifts. But anyways, they're very responsive on downshifts, extremely fast reacting on the downshifts. Upshifts are a little bit slow, especially if you're redlining the car. Really, the downshifts are much crisper than the upshifts are, but it still does a very good job at simulating a manual transmission. Again, this being a dual clutch, you do get that awesome little burble in the back when you shift. This isn't a sports engine, and the exhaust system is tuned for to be quiet, so you don't really notice it, but there is that slight little burble, which is a nice touch as well. All right, so downshift. Oh, see what I mean? The torque is so quick, such a quick responsive torque. The downshifts are very crisp. And this being a 40-60 distribution, you still have that little push in the rear. The car could be very tail happy, but the traction control really keeps everything in check. So yeah, it's very peppy engine. You do get turbo lag though, I'm not gonna lie, you get turbo lag on this car. It's not crazy turbo lag, but it is there. You put your foot down, it takes about a second for it to react until the turbos spool up. But it's still very good. All right, we have a nice curve coming here. I mean, the chassis is a little destabilized because the suspension is tuned for comfort, and I am getting body roll, but it's still pretty confident. I mean, you just gotta take that into consideration, that it is not the most stable car out there. But look, I'm passing on very imperfect road right now, and I can barely feel it. It's barely upsetting the vehicle as it is. See, loads of fun. The paddle shifters are responsive. I mean, the car's not slow. Okay, we got a good curve coming here. Let's see how much I can really push it before I get scared. Body roll, look, the whole car's kind of jumping around, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. That was a pretty beat up curve. But yeah, this is, I mean, what can I say? This is a fun car. And then when you're done messing about and you're done with your little adrenaline pumping, you just put back on drive. You go in your drive select, you go on automatic mode, and everything gets nice and comfortable. With the soft cushioned headrest. Yeah, cruise control. Let's go to Toronto of the sort and just be nice and relaxed with good fuel economy. So that's it. I really have nothing else to add. I've had this car for 6 months, and I have a feeling it's going to be a fantastic 3 years and 6 months left to my lease. Great experience. I'm going to have a good time. I really hope this has given you guys a little insight on what the 2019 Audi is. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this car will most likely start getting liquidated at the dealerships to make room for the 2020 models, and they're going to have same killer promotions. Something you guys should highly consider if you're in the market for a 4-door luxury sedan, relatively entry level. This competes against the Mercedes C300 and against the BMW 340. So something you should consider is this A4 Comfort model. Really, take a look at it. Great value for the price. And that's it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, everyone for giving me the awesome support I've been getting on my videos. Like I keep saying, more videos coming up soon with nice little new cars. And that's it. Make sure you go and subscribe if you haven't done so. Follow us on Instagram, VTestDrive, or you can follow my personal Instagram, Jordan_official. And I will see you guys very soon. Have a good day.